Hey guys, welcome back. So now jumping right back into Batman and Superman and their face off with the Shazam who laughs, who was a crazy surprise they did not see coming in the middle of their investigation. And on top of that, we also get a glimpse of what the infected Commissioner Gordon is up to, all the while in the background. So let's get into it. But first, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to catch the spills every week, and don't forget to hit that bell up top so we can squat up in the comments for the first hour. Alright, so jumping right in where we left off, when Batman and Superman had followed the lead which was given to them by Commissioner Gordon to check out the Batcave of the Batman Who Laughs, which was located under Crime Alley, this was very much a setup which led them to an infected Billy Batson who was pretty much waiting here to take them out. But keep in mind, prior to this point, the only person who knew that Batman and Superman were coming here was Commissioner Gordon, to whom we know was infected at the conclusion of the Batman Who Laughs miniseries. And it's this, in addition to a few other things, which lead us to suspect that the currently infected Commissioner Gordon is working with the Batman Who Laughs, who at this time is targeting Batman and Superman next on his list for a reason that we'll talk about in a little bit. And so now, as far as this Shazam that Batman and Superman are facing, who I'm like 99% sure that this is the Shazam from this universe, and I kind of feel like I need to clear that up before we go any further. And my main reasoning is because of so much that we follow with the Batman Who Laughs throughout Dark Knight's Metal and on our Batman Who Laughs playlist, where we talk about all that Batman has done throughout Immortal Men, throughout his miniseries, throughout Justice League, and the Year of the Villain. And throughout all of that, it isn't up until now where he started to use this Batarang form of delivery. And so fast forward to now within Batman and Superman, where we find Billy Batson within the Batman Who Laughs Batcave, he lets them know that the Batman Who Laughs took his family and he hit him with a Batarang, to which once again this whole Batarang delivery is something new. And as far as lining this up with what's happening in Shazam's series right now, that's something we won't be able to do till later on, much like how we had to wait towards the conclusion of the Batman Who Laughs miniseries to figure out exactly where that's set in the timeline. But in addition to this, we also get leads to this notion with the Shazam Who Laughs telling Superman that the Batman Who Laughs wants to free them all, and as soon as he hits them with this Batarang, then Superman will understand and see his side. But I also gotta say that I like that even though this is separate from the other superheroes, with the Justice League having its different factions, but it is noted that this battle with the Shazam Who Laughs, which is noticed by Justice League Dark, that is causing a new disturbance within magic, which for the record, Batman hates magic, which is why at this time he went back to the Batman Who Laughs Batcave to find something he knew that the Batman Who Laughs would have to have, which would put him back in the fight. But at this point, when Superman is about to burn off the face of the Shazam Who Laughs, he just says Shazam and turns back into Billy Batson, which was a pretty risky move because clearly this kid hasn't played or read Injustice. Because that was the first thing that I thought about when this happened. Because if you think about it, a majority of these fights that we see Superman in, he is always holding back to some degree. In this situation versus the Shazam Who Laughs, it is no exception because we've seen Superman versus Shazam with a Superman who didn't hold back, who wasn't trying to save him. And though we know our Earth Zero Superman is not that guy, my personal advice is just like, don't give him the chance, because that's the first thing I thought of when I seen this. But as it turns out, he just uses this as a trick to distract Superman, and he turns right back into the Shazam Who Laughs, which is a plan he uses to gain back the upper hand. But it's also here where we get back to the Batarang, of which he once again tells Superman that this is the Batman Who Laughs plan to save us all, and that Superman will understand once he's seen the truth. And so now these Batarangs are once again like what we've seen in the first issue, when Batman and Superman found the casting for the molds back in the Batman Who Laughs Batcave, moments just before they were attacked by the Shazam Who Laughs, of which for these there are 6 total, and likely targeted at the main members of the Justice League, to where after Shazam, Superman is next on the list. And you can tell within this fight that Superman is more of a priority, and mainly because right out the gate, Shazam tells Batman that he's a joke, like he's a dude just in a Halloween costume, like the Shazam Who Laughs was roasting him like for real. But I would have to say that that's not the reason that the Batman Who Laughs sent the Shazam Who Laughs after Superman, but rather I would say that Superman is a priority here, and mainly because the Batman Who Laughs has already tried to infect Earth Zero Bruce Wayne prior to using the Batarangs, to which, as we saw in the Batman Who Laughs miniseries, it didn't work out. Which doesn't necessarily mean that the Batman Who Laughs is gonna quit, but at the same time, to directly go for Bruce Wayne, it would be a bit redundant. But just before Superman gets stabbed, Batman comes through with the Batman Who Laughs Batwing, crashing into Shazam while hurtling from the cockpit so he can stab Shazam with the nth metal Batarang, which immediately gets him struck by lightning. And in this moment, it forces Superman to decide whether he's gonna save Bruce or go after the Shazam Who Laughs. And I'll make an argument that a Superman who would have been a bit more savage could have done both, but that just wasn't the case here, as we find Batman in the Fortress of Solitude located in the Bermuda Triangle. And the thing is, like, when he wakes up, he immediately realizes, okay, there's not a Shazam locked up in one of these who's been captured and sedated. But upon waking up, he immediately breaks himself out of there shortly before Superman arrives to give him the full update on what happened. But when Superman gets back, I just love this moment, like this argument between the two of them, with Superman confessing that he held back, because regardless of how you look at it, Shazam is a kid, and Batman who just gives him this desperate times call for desperate measures speech, which those words kind of lean towards like, I ain't gonna tell you what you should have did, but letting him go wasn't an option. And when Superman cuts that off, like, okay, he beat us both, don't give me the lecture, and Batman stops and they just stare at each other for a second. And it's like, you know, Batman with no utility belt, he ain't finna swing. But I love this moment because it's one of those moments where you see how close they are and that they really understand each other. Because after taking this L together, the conversation shifts back to business. So it's like, okay, our only lead got away, but what do we do from here? But from here, Superman shows Batman his analysis of the batarang that was made for Superman that Shazam was trying to stab him with, which is another thing that emphasizes the point of what I was saying earlier about Shazam only bringing a batarang for Superman. And of course, the Shazam batarang is the one that Batman had taken to get rid of Shazam. And I really feel like this is one of the clues, in addition to what they discovered in the Batman Who Laughs Batcave, that not only shows them what the Batman Who Laughs is trying to do, which is make the heroes more like him, with batarangs modeled specifically towards each hero, but it also gave them a hint towards his more immediate plans. Because with the Batman Who Laughs getting to Shazam without anyone knowing, that was really just his first step towards getting Shazam to come after Superman. And with the Batman Who Laughs wanting to get Superman, it was pretty obvious that from there he would want Superman to come break him out. And with Batman and Superman more or less putting this together and using this plan to make the Batman Who Laughs believe that his previous plan has succeeded, they come to the conclusion that because Shazam has pretty much showed them his hand, that from here they're gonna give the Batman Who Laughs exactly what he wants. Well, not exactly, but they're gonna make him think he's getting it. But real quick, from here, jumping over to Commissioner Gordon, who we know has been infected since the Batman Who Laughs miniseries. When we catch up with him, we see him meet up with a couple of people, the first at GCPD Armory, with whom appears to be another Bruce Wayne, and he's taking him here to the lockdown, which holds every single weapon, poison, or gadget from every person who's locked up in Arkham Asylum. And because of the Wayne Tech security here, not even Gordon has access to it, and with it being Wayne Tech, it's likely that it's only accessible by Batman, which is why I believe there's another Bruce Wayne here with Commissioner Gordon opening this door. And not long after this, we see Commissioner Gordon once again at Arkham Asylum, but at this time speaking with someone different, and it's kind of hard to figure out who it is, whether it's Bane, who I'm feeling some type of way about right now, but we'll get to that in another video. But aside from him, there's also the possibility that the Grim Knight survived, which, I mean, that's a 50-50 thing. But from here, jumping back over to Batman and Superman, it's where we get this L-cut type of transition to where it's like you still hear the conversation that they had at the Fortress of Solitude, but visually we go into the implementation of that plan. But it's here that we find out that Superman had been knew that Batman was keeping the Batman Who Laughs under the Hall of Justice. And the way that Superman explains this, it's like after he found out about the conclusion of the Batman Who Laughs, to where he knew Batman had to lock him up somewhere, he did a bit of his report of investigating, and he discovered that the Batman Who Laughs had been locked up by Bruce under the Hall of Justice, which is one of many ways that Superman would have figured this out. But it's here where we see them implement the plan of giving the Batman Who Laughs what he wants, with him first infecting Shazam and sending him after Superman, but that's really the only thing that Earth Zero Batman and Superman know. And because Batman knows without a doubt that he can't just interrogate the Batman Who Laughs, like he's not going to tell them anything, at least not intentionally. So for that reason, they have to lead him to believe that his plan is working, so that from here the Batman Who Laughs will proceed to the next step, and with doing so he'll show them more information than he would wish to share. But also with this happening, there's a couple things to this that I want to point out, because one, with this leading us into Superman Undercover, I am super curious to see how well that Clark can hold this up, because after all, he does put on glasses, comb his hair different, and after that everybody's like, where did Superman go? And I do feel like this will be a bit more of an acting challenge for Superman, especially if the Superman from the Earth -22 shows back up, who we had seen the Batman Who Laughs kill back on Earth -22, saving him for last after killing the entire Justice League, which has me thinking, and this would also be pretty messed up, but what if the Batman Who Laughs had plans for Earth Zero Superman to be somewhere else while the Superman from Earth -22 was still hanging around somewhere? Because when Clark arrives and the Batman Who Laughs is like, hey old friend, like if I was Superman, I would have broke character like, wait, do you think, is there another, wait, you think I'm the old one or the new one? Are you believing my cover? Wait a minute, just kidding, because I'm totally the Superman that you think I am, ha ha ha. Like if I was Superman, I probably would have blown the cover right there, like right then and there. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you think this plan will work? Do you think Superman can hold his cover? Or do you think there's another Superman that could possibly blow his cover? But let me know your thoughts down below, and we'll do it again in the next one. Alright, later.